What's going on, guys? I wanted to show y'all the LG Deluxe wired thermostat. Y'all may see this out in the field. If y'all work on LG equipment, this thermostat here can link up to all the LG equipment pretty much. Residential, I know for sure. Their LG CV line or the ductless. Like right now I've got this hooked up to my LG ductless unit, and I wanted to go over some of the installer settings and how to get into the installer setup of this thermostat. However, me having it hooked up to my ductless system, there's not as many settings available that I can show y'all in here, other than if it was hooked up to an actual ducted system, the LG CV ducted line. But I'll go over them real quick. So if you go in here, up here the three bars at the top left hand side of the thermostat, click this. Down at the bottom there'll be small installer settings. Click that. Now I've been into this thermostat right before starting this video, so it still hasn't timed out, but if you go to one, nobody's messed with the installer settings, it's going to ask you for a code. The code is the actual software version of what the thermostat is operating on. If you're not sure about that, an easy place to go find that, hit your three bars here, go to regular settings. All right, go to service. Right here, software version 2005. The latest one I know that they've got out is a 2006, but whatever, that's where you can find, that's your passcode to get into the installer settings. So let's go back to the installer settings there. It'll say air conditioning, just click that. This is where you can test run the unit, all kinds of different things. The first one, guys may not know about LG equipment. You can pick up the displayed temperature from a couple of different places. You can pick it up from their return sensor, you can pick it up from the wired thermostat, or you could have the remote control, and that can create some callbacks if you're not for sure. So let's go here. RMC, remote control, indoor unit, or 2TH. Right now I've got it on 2TH. What that's doing is that's averaging between the return sensor and the wall thermostat. So that's gonna basically, what temperature is displaying on this thermostat is gonna be an average of those two. Or I can just switch it straight to pick up the temperature at the indoor unit return, the return air being pulled in, or the remote, just the remote control itself, like the thermostat. So if you're getting a complaint that the thermostat temperature doesn't seem to be what they have it set at, go in there and look and see where you're picking up for it to read that temperature from. And you just could be as easy as changing the location of that. So I'm gonna leave mine on this 2TH here, scroll down. Got all different things. Here, the overheating. The big ones that I want to talk about is the overheating and the overcooling. Now, since I've got this tied to a ductless system, it's not giving me the option to change my overcooling setup, but it does do the overheating, and it's the same process. So I'm going to click this. It's going to come defaulted straight out of the box at 0. What that can do is that can cause overheating situations, or in cooling, way overcooling situations. So what you want to do is go down to your highest step, which is in overheating is going to be step 4. Click step 4, and that's going to tighten up the range so it won't overshoot that temperature that the thermostat set at. Like I said, it happened a lot in the cooling mode with these things. Your overcooling is not going to have a step 4. The highest it's going to have is a step 3. So put it on step 3, and that will hopefully solve your overcooling problems or overheating problems if that's what you're facing. Scroll down here. Like I said, this thing has so many different settings. You can literally almost reprogram the operation of the system, especially when it's hooked into a ducted system. I wouldn't go in there and change any of those settings other than what basically I'm talking about, unless you truly understand what you are doing, because you could change the whole operation of that system, and you could always go back and reboot the thermostat if you got too far involved in it and couldn't figure out what you did, and it'll bring it back to the default settings. But one of them that's not on here, because like I said, it's hooked up to a ductless system. If it was hooked up to a ducted system, it's got an option that will say thermal fan off in cooling. You want to click that one, go into it. It's probably going to be defaulted at low or medium. Make sure that is in on off, because what can happen if that's not changed to off is the fan will continue to run. So even though the house satisfies at the set temperature, the indoor fan is going to continue to run at whatever speed that is that setting is on. I know a lot of customers were calling us saying that the fan just never shuts off. And we found out that that's why. We need to go in there and change that thermal fan off in cooling. Turn that to off, and that will make the indoor fan shut down when the cooling satisfies. So, and plus, depending on what area you're in, you probably don't want that, because when we're cooling an area, we're actually pulling the heat and humidity out of that area. Once it satisfies, if we continue to run that fan after that, we run the high possibility of dumping the humidity that we just removed out of that house back into that area. So yeah, that's the LG. This is the PREMA201 thermostat, PREMA201 from LG, the deluxe thermostat. 3-wire setup on the back there. So yeah, hopefully that'll help you guys out if y'all work on these or have any problems with the fans or the thing overcooling or overheating. And keep cooling out there, and I'll wrap with you guys later.